Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa Sangasteshopajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamat Kamat Krodho Bijayate. Yeah, please repeat. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa Sangasteshopajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamat Krodho Bijayate. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa Sangasteshopajayate Jayate Kama Kamat Krodho Vijayate Vishayan Pumsa Teshu Vijayate Sangha Sanjayate Kama Kamat Krodho Vijayate Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa Gasteshu Vijayate Sanjayate Kama Kamat Krodho Vijayate. Mataji's, please. Vishayan Pumsa Sangasteshu Pachayate Sangha Sanjayate Kama Kamat Krodho Bhijayate Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa Sangasteshu Pachayate Sangha Sanjayate Kama Kamat Krodho Bhijayate Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa Sangasteshu Pajayate Sangha Sanjayate Kama Kamat Krodho Bhijayate Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa Sangasteshu Pajayate Sangha Sanjayate Kama Krodho Vijayate Dhyayataha. While contemplating Vishayan, sense objects, Pumsaham, of a person, Sangaham, attachment, Teshu, in the sense objects, Upajayate, develops, Sangat, from attachment, Sanjayate, develops, Kamaham, desire, Kamat, from desire, Krodham, anger, Abhijayate, becomes manifest. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them. And from such attachment, lust develops, and from lust, anger arises. Purport. One who is not Krishna conscious is subjected to material desires while contemplating the objects of the senses. The senses require real engagements, and if they are not engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, they will certainly seek engagement in the service of materialism. In the material world, everyone, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, to say nothing of other demigods in the heavenly planets, is subject to the influence of sense objects, and the only method to get out of this puzzle of material existence is to become Krishna conscious. Lord Shiva was in deep meditation, but when Parvati agitated him for sense pleasure, he agreed to the proposal. As a result, Kartikeya was born. When Haridas Thakur was a young devotee of the Lord, he was similarly allured by the incarnation of Maya Devi. But Haridas easily passed the test because of his unalloyed devotion to Krishna. As illustrated in the above mentioned verse of Sri Yamunacharya, a sincere devotee of the Lord shuns all material sense enjoyment due to his higher taste for spiritual enjoyment in the association of the Lord. That is the secret of success. One who is not, therefore, in Krishna consciousness, however powerful he may be in controlling the senses by artificial repression, is sure ultimately to fail. For the slightest thought of sense pleasure will agitate him to gratify his senses. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadam Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utafpada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Suchivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagan Lalita Shri Vishakan Matamsha He Krishna Karana Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhana Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swaminati Namane Nijaguru Harivanya Krishna Chitto Vichinto Parihita Pitrigehadiyanda Samsara Kupaha Prabhu Bhajana Sukabdo Majayan Samsa Vishwa Bhuvijayati Vikaso Bhakti Purvo Yatindraha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminati Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine Vagisha Yasya Vadane Lakshmi Yasya Chivakshisi Yasyasya Hridaye Samvitam Nrsimham Aham Bhaje Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karti Vachalam Pangum Langaite Girim Yat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Yasya Deve Parabhaktir Yata Deve Tata Gurau Tasyaite Katita Hyarta Prakashante Mahatmanaha. Anjan, would you like a chair? No, okay. So we're reading this verse in the Bhagavad Gita, speaking about how when a person is contemplating the object of the senses, he develops attachment for them, and from such attachment lust develops, and from lust anger arises. Actually, there's a series of verses, and do you have Pocket Vedas on your phone? One of you can do it then. So we can see this over here. It's actually a series of verses helping one understand, the danger of associating with sense objects. So we can see this over here. The first, of course, is contemplation. When a person starts to contemplate the objects of the senses, then naturally attachment develops for them. And once attachment develops, from that attachment lust arises. And from lust, unfulfilled lust especially, anger arises. And then 262, Prabhu. Sorry, 262, yeah. And then the next verse says, Kodad bhavati sammoha, sammoha smriti vibhramaha, smriti bhramshat buddhinasho, buddhinashat pranashati. You can see that from anger, complete delusion arises, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory. And when memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. Therefore, raga dvesha vimuktaistu vishayan indriyais atma vaishyer vidheyatma prasadam adhikachati. But a person free from all attachment and aversion, unable to control his senses through the regulative principles of freedom, can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. So, this is a very important thing to understand. And you can read the next verse also. Prasade sarvadhukanam hanirasyo pajayate prasanna chetaso hyaso ashu buddhi paraya vatishtate. For one, thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence can exist no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is well established. So we can understand that, if we are contemplating on the objects of the senses which are not good for us, then naturally what will happen is we will go down the wrong path. The classic example is there are two best friends, and the two best friends, they have known each other for the longest time. Then one of the best friends gets a girlfriend, and the other doesn't. And then and the girl is pretty, and the best friend is having, and one of the friend is with his girlfriend, and the other one is just there. But then somehow the other, when one starts to contemplate the object of the senses, that okay, this is your best friend's girlfriend. You would not want to. That's going against bro code, right? But you would not want to. You would not want to. Ruin. You would not want to ruin your relationship with your best friend, and also ruin his relationship with his girlfriend. You would not want to do that. But then somehow the other, when one contemplates, when one starts to contemplate upon this, and then somehow the other, that contemplation does not stop, then attachment develops. Somehow the other, how can I get her? How can I get her? And from attachment, then lust arises. Then from lust, what happens? Then somehow the other, if something happens between the two of them, naturally there is going to be anger on both sides. And then usually these things end up in murder. Usually. That's how these things end up. The famous one is what O.J. Simpson, right? You were telling me about this. It's a famous one. And then you can see from anger, everyone becomes completely deluded. And from delusion, bewilderment of memory. And when memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. So when the intelligence is lost, people will completely lose their mind and do things which they know they're not supposed to do. Why? Because intelligence by nature means discrimination. We will be able to discriminate between what is right and what is wrong for us. So in this material world, there's almost always a constant assault on all our senses. All our senses are completely assaulted at all times. Our eyes are assaulted by things that we don't really know we should not see, which is going to pollute our consciousness. Our ears are assaulted with mundane sound vibrations. Our nose is assaulted by all these smells of disgusting foodstuffs, which actually we should not be eating. Our tongue drags us from one place to another, wanting to eat this thing and that thing, although we know it's not good for us. There's always constant assault on all our senses. Therefore, an intelligent person learns to control the senses. And they understand that what is the easiest way of controlling the senses? What is the easiest way? What do you think? What's the easiest way of controlling the senses? What do you say? Yes? What else? Precisely. When one associates with devotees, then all these things naturally happen. Now, you've been here for 2 days now. Almost, it's your second day here. We're very glad you're here for 2 days. And then, isn't it easier? You were saying that, you're like more or less like, coffee is like your best friend, But then now you're here and it doesn't even affect you anymore. And you take a good nap and, that's our replacement for coffee, like we were telling you. But, you don't need that anymore. You don't need your Red Bull or whatever anymore. You don't need all these other things anymore. It almost becomes natural. Yeah, there's no need for me to do it. Why? Because of the because of association of devotees. When we come into the association of devotees, and naturally everything, it just becomes, practicing Krishna consciousness becomes easy. And we can see this also that not just in association of devotees, if we, people would, so many people are actually interviewed from like various terrorist groups. Initially when they were growing up, they had no desire to be like a terrorist or whatever. But when they started associating with the terrorists, then they started thinking, okay, let's do this. And they do crazy things. It's true. Why? That's the power of association, actually. And you can even see this, like that in the room when you're taking rest. Let's just say there's you and your fellow brahmachari, or you or someone else. And you decide, all right, even if this guy is sleeping, I'm going to be waking up 1 hour before. 1 hour before this guy's alarm is going to go off. And your alarm goes off, and you wake up and you see that this guy is sleeping. You're like, oh, I might as well also sleep. And you go back to sleep. But if you wake up and you see the other guy is waking up, you also get fired up to wake up and do it. These are just natural things that we see, right? It's right. Am I right or am I right? So you can see this. That it actually happens. That it's so true. That when we're in the association of devotees, it's so easy to practice Krishna consciousness. It's so easy. When you're associating with those whose habit is to stay up late at night, then you'll also develop that habit of staying up late at night. But if you associate with those whose habit is to wake up early in the morning, then you'll also develop a desire to wake up early in the morning. So this association of devotees is the most important thing. Why? Because when we're associated with the devotees, then naturally our senses are protected from the assaults of the illusory energy. especially in a temple. This is known as the embassy to the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, what's constantly going on is the worship of Krishna in various means, shapes, and forms. Everything that happens is happening for the pleasure of Krishna. And we can see this over here also, that everything that's happening, everything that's being done, is done exclusively for the pleasure of Krishna alone. Not for anyone else, not for anything else. Everything starts on Krishna's time. Everything happens on Krishna's time. Krishna's fed every day at the same time. Everything happens exactly according to how Krishna wants it. Why? Because this is Krishna's home. And all the devotees staying here are simply servants of Krishna, wanting to serve him with all their heart and soul. Therefore, they're over here. And why do this service to Krishna? Why? Especially in a world where you're taught that you need to be the master and the enjoyer of everything. Why? Because when we serve is when we become happy. When we serve, we become happy. When you were telling that you because you're the only son, you want to go back to India and you want to serve your parents, right? And why are you doing that? Because it gives you happiness to serve you're indebted to them, so you want to serve them, right? So even you can see, even the mother is very happy by serving the child. Even the younger brother is very happy serving the older brother, and the older brother is very happy serving the younger brother. And then this selfishness of, and the thing is, okay, it's so nice, it's so amazing. Well, we want to go serve our relatives or friends or kids or whatever. But if the same exact kid was born in one house next to you and you're not related to that person, would you care about that kid? No. If the same two people that you want to serve were born just 1 mile away, would you care about serving them if you didn't have a relationship with them? No. So there is this selfishness and this extended selfishness. Well, whereas there's selfishness where we want to take care of our body and that's there. But then there's extended selfishness. I want to take care of my family. And then that selfishness extends even a little bit more. I want to take care of my extended family. Extend that a little bit more. Then I want to take care of my community. Extend that. I want to take care of my city, my state, my country, humans altogether. Then there's extended selfishness. Why? Because ultimately still it's on the bodily concept of life. Whereas real selfishness, and you can pull this up, Nate vidu swartagatim hi vishnum, durashaya he bahirarthamanana, andayatande rupagiyamana stepi shatantam urudhamni baddha. That the mass, the common people in general, they do not know that the ultimate goal of life is Vishnu. Nate vidu swartagatim hi Vishnu. That if you really want to be selfish, the best thing you could do for yourself is to be selfless in serving Vishnu. Why? Because he's the very self of ourself. He's our dearmost friend. There's nothing better and more important than serving Krishna. There's nothing more important than doing that. Nate vidu swartagatim hi Vishnu. You pull this up? It's not showing up though. So, we understand that the ultimate goal of life is Vishnu. But, next verse. Okay, you know what? We could read the verse before that to you. Go back. Shri Prahlad Uvacha, Materne Krishne Paratasvatova Metopi Padyeta Graharvatanam Adanta Gobir Vishitam Tamishram Punaf Punah Sharvata Charvananam. We'll read the translation after we read Nate Vidu Swartagatim hi Vishnu. Okay, there you go. Boom. So I just quoted that. So let's see the translation, please. Okay. Persons who are strongly entrapped by the consciousness of enjoying material life and who have therefore accepted as their leader or guru a similar blind man attached to external sense objects cannot understand that the goal of life is to return home back to Godhead and engage in the service of Lord Vishnu. As blind men guided by another blind man miss the right path and fall into a ditch, materially attached men led by another materially attached man are bound by the ropes of fruitive labor, which are made of very strong cords, and they continue again and again in materialistic life, suffering the threefold miseries. And then we can understand this, that so many people, they claim to be leaders. They can, yes, you do like this, you do like that. And then by associating with such leaders who are on the bodily concept of life, then we also develop misconceptions in regards to who the self is. When we have, what is our main source? You see that there's this common saying, and I've heard it a lot in America, you are what you eat. Everyone's heard this before, you are what you eat. Right? This is a common thing, you are what you eat. And that's true in many senses of the terms. Firstly, it's like, if, the truth is we don't just eat with our tongue. We eat with our eyes, we eat with our skin, we eat with our nose, and we eat with our ears. Just that the food stuff is different. Yes, we may eat foodstuffs with our tongue, but we are also seeing things. We are eating the object of our vision. We are eating the sound vibration that's entering our ear. We are eating all these things, actually. And most importantly, what has the most effect upon the living entity is what the living entity eats with his ears. What you eat with your ears is actually what shapes your mind, and the way your mind is shaped decides what you're going to eat with your eyes, nose, and tongue. Something very important to understand. That's why when we come into the association of devotees, then naturally we will start to eat things which are very good for us. We actually start to eat things which are very good for us, and we will feel complete satisfaction. 1, 2, 32. Yata hyava hito vanir darushveka svayonishu naneva bhati vishvatma bhutechu cha tatapaman. We see this in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a very amazing verse, actually, and the purport is even more amazing. This is my favorite purport in Srila Prabhupada's books. The Lord as the Super Soul pervades all things, just as fire permeates wood, and so He appears to be of many varieties, though He is the absolute one without second. We can see this. Yeah, you can. It's all amazing. You can keep going, Prabhu. Hold on. Wait. Up. Okay, yeah. As fire is kindled from wood by another fire, the divine consciousness of a man similarly be kindled by another divine grace. His divine grace, the spiritual master, can kindle the fire from the wood-like living entity by imparting proper spiritual messages injected through the receptive ear. Very important. Therefore, one is required to approach the proper spiritual master with receptive ears only, and thus divine existence is gradually realized. The difference between animality and humanity lies in this process only. A human being can hear properly, whereas an animal cannot. That's amazing, actually. That's what makes the difference between a human being and an animal. A human being can hear properly, whereas an animal cannot. Therefore, when we come into the association of devotees, and all we need to do is if we simply lend our ears, and all the fears that we've been facing for all these, for all these lifetimes, for all our existence, then that goes away. And this is a very amazing thing, actually, that if we actually pay attention to the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and we actually pay attention to the Srimad Bhagavatam, what we hear, we will actually come to the platform of fearlessness. That is something to be experienced in itself, actually. To come to a platform of fearlessness is, when we come to that platform, we realize we were so much in fear the whole time. So much in fear the whole time. Why? Because we are injected with this transcendental knowledge of understanding our eternal existence. The nature of something eternal is that it's eternal. Well, people may say, oh, wow, okay, what does that mean? The thing is that when something is eternal, there's no beginning and no middle, and there's no end. There's no end. Our fear arises from the fact that there is an end. But the minute we understand that we are eternal, then immediately fear goes away. Why? And this knowledge and this understanding comes about how? It comes about by the association of devotees, by hearing about Krishna. The devotees inform us that we are eternal, that Krishna is eternal, and devotional service is eternal. These are the only 3 eternal things in this whole material world. Of course, time is also eternal, and so is material nature. That's also eternal. But devotional service is eternal. We can perform devotional service to Krishna, and we can go as far as we want to go. We can go as fast as we want to go in devotional service. We can go. Why? Why is this the case? Why is this possible? This is possible because Krishna reciprocates with the devotee according to his degree of surrender. That according to our limit of surrender, Krishna actually rewards accordingly. According to the degree of faith that one develops in Krishna, Krishna gives us that level of perfection. Yadrishi shraddha siddhir bhavati tadrishi. So the degree of faith that we have, to that degree Krishna reciprocates. So when we come into the association of devotees and we see how devotees are practicing Krishna consciousness, then naturally what happens is that we feel very enlivened in Krishna consciousness. We feel very happy. We actually start to feel the effects of Krishna consciousness. Why? Because Krishna consciousness by nature is blissful. Yes, we may have a very, what people may think we were discussing is we may have a very pessimistic view of this material world. But it's not pessimistic, it's realistic view. But at the same time, not only, yes, we understand and we condemn material existence altogether, but we are still very happy. Why? Because that is how Krishna is. Krishna is always happy. You can see Krishna. Krishna is standing, he's smiling. You can see he's playing with his friends, playing the flute, dancing with his friends. He's having a good time, taking picnic, and every now and then he flexes and shows everyone that he's God. And then he kills a few demons here and there. But it's always fun and play. You can pull this up. Ananda chinmaya rasatmataya manasu yafprananam pratipadam smaratam upetya leela yetena bhuvanani chet ajashram govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. You can see this. You know the verse number to this, or you're going to wing it? It looks like you're winging it. Yeah. I think... No, keep going. Got to go way past. Keep going. Go. Keep going. No, that's not it. One more. Yeah, keep going. That's it. Boom. This is a really amazing verse, actually. You can see the translation. So, I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose glory ever triumphantly dominates the mundane world by the activity of his own pastimes, being reflected in the mind of recollecting souls as the transcendental entity of ever blissful cognitive rasa. That Krishna's pastimes are so amazing that they triumphantly dominate everything that we can think of in this material world. Think of the greatest hero. Who's the greatest hero that you can think of? Okay, if you say Arjuna, that's really awesome. But think of a hero in this material world. Who's like a hero? What did they do? Stop kidding. But think of someone. Think of a good hero. Spider-Man. Yeah. What's so amazing about Spider-Man? Firstly, he doesn't exist. He just throws a few webs around, and this crazy guy, and he's has all these octopus legs or something. Thank God I forget most of the storyline. Krishna is blessing me with forgetfulness of Spider-Man. But we can see that what's so amazing about this story is it's so bogus. It doesn't it's not true. It's not real. And it keeps you more in illusion, like we were quoting Prahladananda Maharaj, that you watch the Spider-Man movie and you're so inspired, and your wife is screaming at you, your children are crying, your boss is about to fire you, your entire life is going to fall apart, but inside you're thinking, don't worry, I'm a Spider-Man. What nonsense is this? It doesn't exist. But if you think of the pastimes of Krishna, especially coming from a bona fide source, if you listen to the pastimes of Krishna coming from a bona fide source, then naturally we will feel happiness. You see, one of the greatest wealth that Srila Prabhupada gave to this entire world are his books. They're very amazing books, actually. The most amazing things, actually, the greatest treasure of this material world is Srila Prabhupada's books. Yes, so many deities are there, so many holy places are there, wonderful, amazing, fantastic. But everything is there in Srila Prabhupada's books. All the holy places, all the devotees, all the association, everything is there in these books. So if we simply read these books, especially if we read the Krishna book, it's a very amazing book, actually. When you read, you have these books, you have the Krishna book, you have the Bhagavatam. So Chandan is going to sell all of Prabhupada's books to our dear friend James, and I'm going to sell all of Prabhupada's books to Anjan. We got a home team advantage, me and Anjan over here. So we want to sell all of Srila Prabhupada. And when you read these books, you will feel very happy, actually. You will actually feel, wow, for the first time, something makes sense. From all the garbage that I was taught in my university to finally coming to something even closer to reality, this is so amazing, actually. It's very amazing. It's very profound. It's the most amazing thing. And when we come in the association of devotees, what do we talk about? We may talk, we did this as a kid, we did that as a kid. But it's not like we're just talking and just talking like ordinary karmis do. But, we talk about, I used to do this, but just see the mercy of Krishna that somehow or the other, I'm not doing that stuff anymore, Someone was telling us yesterday that the last time they got intoxicated was at the age of 6. That's when my life hit rock bottom. Everything fell apart for me at the age of 6, and I never did it again. That's not bad for the age of 6, But, we can see that, if we look at our own life, if we ponder on our own ignorance, This is a really amazing thing. When we come into the association of devotees, two things happen simultaneously. One thing is we ponder upon the wonder that is Krishna consciousness. We ponder upon the wonder that is Krishna himself. And then we also ponder upon our own ignorance. We really ponder upon it. So all the talks, okay, why isn't like everything they speak like a Bhagavatam class? I thought that's what they're supposed to be doing, But, even when that's not going on, devotees are pondering on their ignorance. That they're thinking, oh my God, how did I do that? What the heck was I thinking? This is so insane. And when we ponder our ignorance, naturally, the outcome of pondering on our ignorance, while we're simultaneously fed with the wonder that is Krishna consciousness, what happens is naturally we will be inclined to perform tapasya. We'll be inclined to perform what's known as austerity. You see? We'll be inclined to perform these things. And when we're inclined to perform these things, we start to, and as we're pondering upon the wonder that is Krishna consciousness, and as we're pondering upon upon our own ignorance in our own life, then simultaneously what happens is we start to contemplate the amazingness of Krishna consciousness. We start to contemplate, oh wow, Krishna consciousness is so amazing. We start to think, oh, this is fantastic. I'm happy for the first time in my life. I'm actually not being pulled by my senses. This is so amazing. I would have never imagined that this could happen. We could never imagine, oh my God, how did this happen? Like, how is it? And we start to contemplate the amazingness of Krishna consciousness. And as we're contemplating the amazingness of Krishna consciousness, then naturally attachment develops. We start to contemplate, wow, these devotees that we met, they're genuine people. They really do wake up before 4 a.m. Everything that I saw in that video is true. I guess other than the correcting part, right, James? That's not been going on much for him, right? The correcting part, where Ali says, oh, I've been corrected every minute, like something like that. He says that in the video. But, but you see everything that's happening, everything that's being said in the video is true. It's too cold. We're not traveling right now. But if you stayed a little while, you'll also travel. Everything that's there in the video is true. These guys are actually happy. And this is a blissful life. This is amazing. Oh, my Lord, I could have never imagined this to be like this. But, we start to develop attachment for the devotees. We think, wow, this is so amazing, actually. Yeah? These people are awesome. More than anything, they're really good cooks. I mean, not all of us, but at least some of us. Some of us are on the survival mode in the kitchen sometimes. But these guys are really good cooks. One guy from South India actually came and told us. He was a brother of one of our devotees. He said, this sambar or this rasam is better than what our mom makes at home. And that's a big deal for someone to admit it. I admit it. It's true. It's true. Why? Because it's a complete different taste. Oh my God, and sometimes people may not like the devotees, but they become attached to the prasadam. That's just like, a no-brainer. It's like, oh man, where can I eat like that again, They become attached. We become attached. We start to contemplate about the devotees. We become attached to the devotees. And then from this sangha sanjayate, kamat. Kamat, of course, it means lust in this verse. But then kamat can also mean intense hankering for Krishna. Akama sarva kamova moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham para. That if we have no material desires, or if we have all material desires, or if we simply desire liberation, if we perform intense devotional service, tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham, we will attain the highest destination. But now, if we analyze this verse, akama sarva kamova, then over there we see akama. Then if we read the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, aksharanam akarosmi. Krishna says this, you can pull this verse up, where it is. Aksharanam akarosmi. Krishna says, of all the letters, I am the letter A. I guess in English you can say I'm the letter A, but of all the letters, I'm the letter A. A, I, U, U. We know this, that's how the Sanskrit, letters they start, So it starts with aksharanam akarosmi. Krishna says that. So then we can see, then akama, that means we should have kama, we should have lust for Krishna. We should be really, really lusty after becoming more and more advanced in Krishna consciousness. We should become very greedy. Lust will develop. Yes, lust will develop for what? Lust will develop for us to advance more in Krishna consciousness. Anger will develop when? When the devotees of Krishna are insulted. Then what happens? Then we see this over here. then complete, then complete delusion. We will be completely out of this illusion that we are this body and all these things. I was reading something amazing out to Ali Krishna Prabhu yesterday, where I was telling him that the only relationship between the soul and the body is illusion. That's like if Taker was here, I'd make him do the thing, but boom, I can't do it like him. He really does it well. But the only relationship between the soul and the body is illusion. What other relationship is there? There is no other relationship between the soul and the body. We are not these bodies. You see? But the only relationship between who we actually are and this body is illusion. But then when we come into the association of devotees, then that illusion, it starts to wear away, it starts to go away. We start to act on the transcendental platform. You see? And then then bewilderment of memory. Yes, we want our memory to be bewildered. We want all of it, sometimes we're just going by and all of a sudden out of nowhere, some thought of something that we did so long ago arises in our mind. Why did I get this thought? Like, where did this thought come from? Where did I get this? How did it happen? But then Krishna removes these, and we used to think, I used to be so attached to this, but now I'm not attached to this thing anymore. Like in our brahmachari classes, we were saying that, once we were distributing books, and then, we saw a sense object, which was very similar to the sense object that we used to be very attached to many years ago. And then the first thought that came to our mind is to run away from this sense object. Fortunately, it wasn't the exact same sense object, but the sense object looked very similar. So we decide to run away from the sense object. And I was thinking, like, wow, this is so amazing that, before, wherever the sense object was, we wouldn't want to be even like a few feet away from the sense object. But then all of a sudden now we want to be millions of miles away from the same sense object. How did that happen? You see, it happened because Krishna is bewildering our memory of being attached to these things. Krishna gives us the intelligence, you see. And then, our material intelligence, it gets purified. It gets purified. And using this intelligence, we start to discriminate and see what is for our ultimate benefit and what is not. That is what the Srimad Bhagavatam does. I guess no one is doing this thing. What's going on, with this screen? So we can say in the Bhagavatam 112, Dharma prochita kaita votra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vasavam atra vastu shivadam tapo trayon mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni krite kimva pararishvaraha sadyo hridya virudyati kritibi shushu shubi sakshanar. So we can see this over here, completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated. This Srimad Bhagavatam propounds the highest truth, which is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare. Highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in the heart. The highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. For such truth uproots threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva in his maturity, is sufficient in itself for God realization. What is the need of any other scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of the Bhagavatam, by this culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within his heart. So we can see this, that when we get a right intelligence, we use these things. We use the knowledge of the Bhagavatam to be able to distinguish reality from illusion. What is there? This is very important to understand. There's something known as Shreya, Tasmat Gurum Prapadyeta, Jigyasu Shreya Uttamam. We approach a spiritual master for what reason? We approach a spiritual master for the reason of inquiring about what is my topmost benefit. Jigyasu Shreya Uttamam. We should inquire about what is our topmost benefit. What do we really need in our life? What activities, if I perform them, which will give us our Shreya Uttama? What will give us our topmost benefit? Shreya Uttama. What will give us this? Shreya Uttama. What will give us our topmost benefit? You see? So, an intelligent person, he will always strive for what is there for his topmost benefit. For example, someone gives you $100, you could go and blow it and do whatever. Or you could invest it in a company which is going to return it for you 10 times more. But what that requires is sense control. You see? So similarly, we understand that, okay, all right, I could immediately gratify my senses. But if I didn't, and I held on, that will please Krishna. And when Krishna is pleased, I will actually I'll get the best bang for my buck. You see? So an intelligent person thinks like that. They actually think and see how they can do whatever they need to do in order to attain the highest benefit. How do we attain the Shreya Uttama? You see? That there is something known as, was it Pravriti Marga and Nivriti Marga. Pravriti Marga gives you immediate benefits, immediate sense gratification, and Nivriti Marga gives you the long-term benefits. We will need to perform a few austerities, but when we do perform these austerities, we completely realize that it is worth it. There's nothing more, there's nothing better than that, actually. There's nothing better than that. Why? Because when your senses are controlled, you actually feel satisfied. Think about it, sometimes it's really late at night, and, you may think that, man, you had a whole pint of ice cream in your fridge. Has this ever happened to you before? You have a whole pint of ice cream in your fridge, and you wake up to pass water or something, and you think like, bro, like, I know I have to go to school tomorrow or I have to go to work tomorrow, but, I think I should eat this pint of ice cream, And then if you eat the whole pint of ice cream, firstly, eating really cold things at night is really bad for you. So it's going to mess up your digestion the next day. Secondly, instead of sleeping that time, you're eating ice cream and watching TV. It's also bad for you. And then your whole rest of the day is completely messed up. But if you thought so, yeah, it's good, but anyway, I could eat it tomorrow morning or whatever. And you go to sleep. And when you wake up, you naturally feel like, wow, thank God I didn't do that. I would have been so stupid for doing it, right? Did it happen to everyone or was it just me? Yeah, it happened to most people. So, we can see this, that these things happen, And when we control our senses, we feel very happy. So then what to speak of actually controlling our senses to please Krishna? Why? Because Krishna is the master of our senses. So when we control our senses to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then naturally we will become very, very satisfied at heart. We'll become very satisfied. And all this becomes almost second nature to us when we make the association of devotees as our number one priority. If we somehow prioritize the association of devotees over everything else, some people are like, oh, I can't come to the temple, because, Prabhu is so far away and it's like, I'm only going to be there for 3 days and all this. But then I asked them, oh, so when your friend was getting married and you had to fly to another country and you could only be there for 3 days, you went for that. But you can't come to see Krishna. Oh, when you had to go to your friends, cousins, neighbors, daughters' graduation as an excuse for all of you to meet together and gratify your senses, that time you could go, but you can't come and see Krishna. That is too much. That is too much. Oh, Prabhu, I can't give this donation. It's too much for me. But then if you have to use the same money times 10 to gratify your senses by buying this or that time you don't care. Why? Why? Because we don't value Krishna enough. But if you are intelligent, those who are intelligent will value the association of devotees over everything else. Whatever little, so-called personal space and freedom and sense gratification that we think we may have, we will get all that and more. We'll get all that and more. And the biggest illusion is to think, I'll be able to practice devotional service better outside the association of devotees. That's the biggest illusion. I remember that actually happened to me. I was going to school, and then, I had this habit of waking up really early. I used to wake up at 3 o'clock, And then and devotees would still be sleeping, and I would be living in the same, and we were living in Pitt Street, which was houses in New York are small, but then when you have a really small place in New York, things are really tight. We had 13 guys living in a one-bedroom apartment or something like that. It was crazy, okay? So I would wake up really early, and I would sit and I would be chanting my rounds. And me chanting would obviously wake up the devotees. I was so insensitive. And the devotees would get fried out with me. And initially I used to think maybe I should just move to my brother's place, and I would be able to chant so much better in my brother's place, And I really thought that for a few days, and I thought dude, this is such illusion. What am I thinking? To leave the association of devotees to chant better, it's such maya, And I'm so glad I didn't do it. But so many people thought like that. Yeah, I'll be able to perform devotional service better outside the association of devotees. But that is known as illusion. That's known as illusion. That's the biggest trick that Maya will play on us. So we should be very careful in making sure we prioritize the association of devotees. Why? Because when we prioritize this, then everything is worth it. And when we sacrifice to come into the association of devotees, Krishna really reciprocates with you. When you sacrifice, I remember like I had the choice of going and seeing like my favorite band play, and my brother was going to buy the tickets for it, and I had the choice of just going to Harinam like I always did every day, nothing like from a materialist way. I mean, my brother was like, you go there every day. Like, why can't you just come to the concert once? Like, when was the last time you went to a concert? But I was just like, nah, I'll just go. I'll just go and go into the association devotee. And that Harinam was like one of the most blissful Harinams I've ever part of. I used to dance like crazy. I still dance like crazy, right? But it was different. The kirtans were different. You know what I mean? So it was ecstatic. It was amazing, and Krishna really reciprocated. When we sacrifice, when we make a sacrifice to come to the association of devotees, what is our number one priority? Association of devotees. If we simply make this the number one priority, then everything will work out. If we save up all our Lakshmi and we have our life, and we're using our life savings to every day, every week come and see the devotees. Every 2 weeks come and see the devotees. Krishna will be so pleased with you. He will reward you immensely. He will benefit you amazingly. Krishna will give you this. So wherever there's pure Krishna consciousness, run to that place, or fly to that place, or drive to that place. Whatever it takes, we should do this. And when we do this, we will get immensely rewarded by Krishna. So I'll stop the class here. If there's any questions or comments, we can take them now. Anything from anyone? Yes, Kalki Prabhu. Please turn the camera around.
Hare Krishna. No, I just wanted to read something. You were talking about like you're at the temple, and then like, or whatever, you're at Pitt Street, and then you were thinking maybe I'd go out to my brother's house and chant because it'll be more peaceful. I mean, I've been in tons of situations just like that. Just whatever, the mind just thinks, oh, if I was like in situation X, it'd be better than this, and it's just Maya. But this is something that Guru Maharaj, there's like those quotes they post by him, and I was just gonna read it because it's really relevant and it really stuck to me. But so it's he says, be careful of the aloof bhajananandi mood of avoiding other devotees so as to concentrate only on personal sadhana and of thinking oneself better than others for doing so. Kirtaniya sadahari can properly be practiced by one who is trinadapi sunichena toradapi shahishuno amanina manadena. So, without like saying so much in that.
Yeah.
That's just like the Maya, that like, whatever, more advanced or this or that. Like, I'll just go chant by ourselves. But, like if, the only way that we can actually like chant always is that we have to like develop that humility and tolerance and like understand and like kind of rise above our own ego and like reciprocate with devotees accordingly. So,
and Krishna rewards, Krishna is very like pleased, that if you make our vow that no matter what, we're going to chant at 16 rounds every day, no matter how late we have to stay up. If we just do that no matter what, and then like, and we may be lamenting, oh, Krishna, I'm not able to chant my rounds properly in the morning. Krishna rewards you. You know what? You did this, you performed the sacrifice, boom, do it. You feel, it's so amazing, And but it is very common, especially in brand new neophyte devotees, where they think, association of devotees is dead, but I can practice Krishna consciousness better. By myself. It's anyone that's new, and like when we're especially new, we start to think that we're way more advanced than we actually are. And those devotees who are been practicing Krishna consciousness for so long, they really think, oh my God, I am nowhere close to being an advanced devotee. Those who are actually advanced. So we see the paradigm like that. We understand. Anything else? Yes, Avadut.
Prabhu, I just like the point you're talking about hearing, the importance, we're actually eating through our ears.
Facts.
And you quoted the second verse of the Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's such a huge verse, and so much could be said about it, but in the word-for-word translation, Prabhupada says something really amazing.
Let's hear it.
It's the third line, Sadyo Hrid Avarudyate. Avarudyate means becomes compact. So within the heart, Krishna becomes compact within your heart when you think about him.
It's amazing.
I'm just going to say that.
That's so amazing.
Becomes compact. Yeah, Prabhupada, the way so meticulously.
He's a wordsmith, man. Like,
meticulously, so much effort into these words. My Krishna.
I read my favorite purport in Prabhupada's books, but I have my favorite line in Prabhupada's books. My favorite line in Prabhupada's books is, Srimad Bhagavatam is the transcendental urge of the soul. That just hits me so deep. Bhagavatam is the transcendental urge of the soul. That's so amazing. Like, I mean, like, what does that mean? Like, we can't even contemplate the depth of that sentence. The Srimad Bhagavatam is a transcendental urge of the soul.
What canto is that?
Is that the introduction to Srimad Bhagavatam, dear friend? It's very amazing. The first canto. Yes, James, breaking the ice as usual. Let's do it.
So I have a few questions.
Knock yourself out, brother.
Okay. So it's a question of, like, translating or sublimating our hankering, like all these urges, these impulses we have in the material world. We just need to transfer that to Krishna.
Yeah.
Okay. And then another question is the question I had yesterday, like the observer. Is that our closest connection with Krishna? Like that part of ourselves, that like kind of pure consciousness that's just observing, is that how we should relate most intimately
Yeah,
to
so this is
Krishna?
a very important philosophical point to understand, that we are not consciousness, but the symptom of us is consciousness.
Okay.
Big difference.
Okay.
You see? We are not, but the symptom of the spirit soul is to be conscious. You see? So, our closest relationship with Krishna actually comes, yes, of course, when we realize, it's so much different. We are so much different from all this body and all these material desires and all that. And then, our closest relationship with Krishna comes when we turn towards Krishna. Like you see, it's not a coincidence that you're here. You know why you're here? You're here because you made a sincere prayer to Krishna to reveal himself unto you. The whole material world, I told you this before, that this whole material world is like an attitude correctional facility for the living entity. That the minute you change your attitude from being the enjoyer to being the servant of Krishna, Krishna immediately revealed himself to you, didn't he? Okay. Somehow you found this video, where it was inspired by, the genius inside Ali Krishna Prabhu. It was, Krishna inspired him, and like he made that video, and then you called up Chandan, and it all just fell together, and you've been chanting for a month before you came here. That's so amazing, right? And then now you're chanting even more. And now you're taking prasadam. And now you're associating with devotees. Now you're going to, I don't think he can fly back with the Bhagavatam, can he? But, the Bhagavatam, yeah, we'll ship it to him, yeah. You're going to be going back with a whole bunch of Srila Prabhupada's books. How did all this happen? Why? Because of your sincere prayer. Our connection with Krishna, our deepest connection with Krishna, is with the most sincere prayers we can make to him, which are in accordance to Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, accordance to what the spiritual master teaches us, according to what scripture says, and according to what the previous acharyas also say. That's our closest relationship. And then we get even closer with Krishna when we do what he wants us to do. Krishna likes the association of devotees so much that he himself is always with the devotees. Just see how much Krishna likes the association of devotees. He himself, you can see, you just see so many pictures. Is Krishna by himself anywhere? I challenge you, find one picture of Krishna. Is he by himself anywhere? No. Either he's with his buddies, or he's with his lovers, or he's like, he's with his friends. Sorry, not buddies, he's with his friends, or he's with his cows. He's just like, he's always with someone all the time. Krishna loves his devotees so much. So, when we do what Krishna wants us to do, then our relationship with Krishna becomes more and more and more and more. Okay. Then what's the other question?
Yeah, with the pictures, why is there so much emphasis on like his beauty?
Well, Krishna is very beautiful.
He's beautiful, but and I'm not trying to like
be a
jerk or anything.
Knock yourself out. Yeah.
Our material, we're not our material bodies. This is our clothes. So in the if we transcend this material world, there's still beauty.
Yes.
In the transcendence of this material world, there's another, I don't know what you would call it. There's another
spiritual
place
beauty.
Spiritual beauty.
Yes. Like for example, James, have you ever seen an upside down tree before?
I guess in a painting.
In a painting, anywhere else?
Maybe in a crane. Like maybe I've.
Wow. See, he's giving me answers I've never heard before. Anything else?
No.
You actually have. There's one more place where you actually seen it.
An upside down tree.
Yes. What, Anjan? Have you seen an upside down tree before? What do you say? Oh, wow, that's an IT answer. You see, the Telugu IT karma comes through with these answers. Then, mother, can you think of an upside down tree? Yeah. A very simple person can find out the answer. See, now we got a philosophical answer. Now I'm going to blow your minds, okay? Okay, I'm going to really blow your minds, okay? And I know all of you have seen this because, that's what Krishna says. Anyway, because we've all seen an upside down tree when we see a reflection of the tree on the water, right? Yes, sir. Reflection of the tree on the water. So this entire material world is considered to be the perverted reflection of the spiritual world. You see? So forms are here, but it's a perverted reflection of the form. Therefore, the forms are temporary and they degrade and they, all these things. But Krishna's form is eternal. See, Krishna's form is eternal. He's known as Sachitananda Vigraha. That he's eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. So Krishna's beauty is not mundane like ours. So the whole goal of Krishna consciousness is to transfer over mundane beauty to spiritual beauty, to transcendental beauty. So the beauty of Krishna is eternal. Krishna's and the thing is, the beauty of Krishna is ever increasing. You may see Krishna now, but then 1 second later, his beauty increases even more. Even more. And the gopis, who are very, very dear devotees to Krishna, every time they see him, they feel like they're seeing him for the first time. Because his beauty is constantly increasing. One of the weapons of Lord Chaitanya is his beauty, actually. So yeah, that's why. And also, Prabhupada said, I like to call them pictures, it makes me think that, we snapped a picture, but it's a painting, right? I keep saying pictures all the time. But these paintings, Prabhupada said, are windows to the spiritual world. So like when you look at these paintings, they're windows to the spiritual world.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Yes, Ethan.
Okay, I have 2 questions.
Okay, let's hear it.
One, you were talking about the importance of hearing.
Yeah.
And so I was wondering, because you can listen to kirtans, but they might not be bona fide.
Yeah.
So how would you know if it's bona fide or not when you listen?
How would you know? There's a machine you can buy, actually. It's called the bona fide kirtan machine. No, just kidding. No. We know. You see, that's why, we listen to kirtans from sources that we know and we trust. That's all. There was this one album I used to jam to, when I first got in there, it had Gurudev on it and all that. And it's feel like the bhakti and you get really fired up. And and then somehow I came to, and then I stopped listening to that album, and later on I found out that, dude, this is pakka complete sahajyas, just singing, they definitely smoke pot and they do this whole thing and Swagatam Gurudev, and they used to go on it's wow, so devotional, oh my God, but it's completely bogus, so you listen to kirtans from trusted sources,
Okay.
If I don't know what to do, I would put on the Krishna Life Live.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Just kidding. But you can listen to Salem's, kirtans, you can listen to kirtan in Czech Republic. There's so many bona fide kirtaniyas are there. Mukunda Datta Prabhu, he's the Kirtan Acharya of Krishna Life. Brigupati Prabhu is the Sankirtan Acharya of Krishna Life. There's so many, Agnidev Prabhu, you can hear his kirtan, So many other, you can hear.
Okay. And my other question, so the translation of this verse that we were reading is talking about what happens when you contemplate.
Yes, sir.
And then the next verse moves into
Anger.
further pretty much, being bewildered in your intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was wondering, you were explaining this a little bit, but what happens, what's the breakdown of the process when you contemplate on Krishna and his devotees?
When you start, it's very similar, actually, But that's the reason I picked this verse. It's like the exact opposite of what happens. That you start to contemplate about Krishna as like for example, you saw the video and you start to contemplate about Krishna and the devotees, right? And then then he got the association of devotees. We contemplate, then we get the association. When we get the association of devotees, we become attached to the association of devotees, and from that attachment, like our illusion is removed. At least like there's tools for us to remove our illusion. And from that, then our very memories of wanting to enjoy the material world, Krishna removes that away. You can look at this Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, text number 15. Sarvasya shaham hridisane vishwam atashmatir jnanam apohanam cha. Where Krishna says, from Krishna comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. So Krishna makes us forget our material desires, actually. That forgetfulness potency. Right? And then when that is done, then we are inspired by new spiritual desires. Our intelligence becomes purified. We get ever increasingly fresh, desires to serve Krishna. So and then from that, then all the different stages of bhakti come about. Ado shada tata sadhu sanganartha nivritisya. It keeps going on. We read it in the purport yesterday, actually. All the different stages of bhakti. In Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha, you can look at that verse if you want. 4:8 or whatever, 4:10. Yeah, Bhagavad Gita 4:10. You can look at that purport. The last part of it, Prabhupada speaks about that. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Anything else? Mother? Mataji's, anything? Okay. Wow, okay, I'm doing pretty good. Okay, anything from the Mataji's? Yes, Anaya Mataji, please.
You probably already mentioned this, but for someone who doesn't know, what do these rewards look like from Krishna?
What do these rewards look like? It's a big medal, actually. No, just kidding. You feel the reciprocation from Krishna. You feel like. Anyway, can we please turn off these lights? It's kind of driving me crazy. It's so bright in the room and we have the lights on. It is okay. Ali is Krishna. Okay, Mataji knows. Okay, awesome. So it's not all just about. Okay, for example, I'll tell you this. So there's a lecture given by His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Maharaj called Blissful Austerity in Preaching. Okay, and in that lecture, we were there live for that lecture. Oh, you listened to it a couple of weeks ago? Yeah, it's and we were taking turns. So we that recording. It took quite a lot of hard work to record that lecture. Because we didn't have a stand like this, so I was holding the camera like this the whole time. And then Kalki Prabhu, Vishnita Prabhu, another devotee, they took turns in holding the voice recorder close to Bhakti Vikas Maharaj's mouth so we could get the clear. So Kalki Prabhu held the voice recorder for some time, and Vishnu held it, and then another devotee held it. Anyway, and that happened in New Jersey in this devotee's home, and where they had so many more deities than devotees. So that was a whole other thing. But in that lecture, Maharaj speaks about how he was in Bangladesh and he was really, really preaching, very, very, with so much vigor he was preaching to all these people. He was preaching about Krishna consciousness. And, even it was raining, Maharaj would get in a boat and they would row from one village to another and they would because when it would rain, it would flood. Imagine how surrendered you should be that it's flooding and it's raining and you're you're going from one village to another, and then Maharaj, they decided to stop when they saw a dead body floating down the river. They thought, all right, it's enough, So then they stopped, and then luckily when they settled in a Hindu village, so they were safe, and they were preaching and all that. And then when Maharaj said, when they came back to the temple and they did Mangalarti, Maharaj literally he could the mercy of Krishna during Mangalarti was so palpable. The mercy of Krishna is so palpable, And, we can say that, when we sacrifice for Krishna, we become, Krishna rewards us accordingly. For example, we completely made sure you had no Lakshmi left in your bank account and her bank account also, and your bank account also, and your bank account also. And, so many, and soon to be yours too. And then, and then, you can see, I was thinking wow. So from a materialistic point of view, you can say let's just say, you donated like whatever, $5,000 or $7,000 to the temple, right? Somewhere around that, You donated that much. From a material point of view, now you can say, wow, that was a good investment. Because, you're getting to stay in some place for free, your food is free, and then you're going to India and that's also free. Materialists may think like that, but for you made a small sacrifice for Krishna, and Krishna is practically like giving himself to the devotee. Like, don't you think like that? Like, yes, if you made a sacrifice, and there may have been so many times where you may have thought that, anyway, I'm, all right, I don't really need to chant. But you still chanted your rounds, you may be falling asleep, you may be motored out. But the fact that you showed up to perform devotional service, Krishna reciprocated with you, right? Now, did you ever imagine in your wildest dreams that you're going to go to India? Did you ever even think about it? But you're actually going to go, and then you're actually going to get to see all these amazing places of pilgrimage. Did you ever think that, Krishna, that you'll have genuine friends who actually care about you and don't want to exploit you? Did you ever think that you'll have like a whole bunch of like men who look at you as their mother and they're willing to make sure that everything is fine? Did you ever imagine that? No, obviously not. But you made a small sacrifice for Krishna, and Krishna reciprocated so amazingly. So you may think that you don't know, but you see, and then you can see that aspect you can see that in every aspect of your life like that. Is that okay? Yeah. Awesome. Anything else? Blissful austerity in preaching. Yes, I can send it. I can send it on the group. It's a very amazing lecture, actually. So I guess the next question is, what's for prasadam, right? I don't know. We're going to go find out, okay? So Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai.